Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Jess. I'm half reader, half writer, all bookworm, and in today's video, we're just going to be reading through some of the books on my November TBR. I have not even finalized my November TBR, but here it goes. I had Gothicana on there. I've read it, enjoyed it. That's the only book from my November TBR that I've read so far, and today is the 10th, I believe. So yeah, we need to kick it into gear a little bit. I have high expectations for my reading in November, so I want to read The Shepherd King duology, One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns. I want to read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches because the premise of it sounds like a really good time. I've never looked too much into it, but it sounds interesting. I want to continue two series that I am in the middle of, which are the Natural series. So I want to read book 3 in the Natural series, All In. I'm actually currently reading that one, and I also want to read the third and final book in the Shadow King trilogy, and that is called Heart of the Shadow King. I also want to read, what else do I want to read? I had a list. I'm interested. Audible recently had a sale and I got some books off of there, so if the month permits, I would like to read a couple of those books. The Bad Ones and Where Sleeping Girls Lie are two that I'm interested in getting to. I also am interested in getting to, sorry about the noise in the background. I'm also interested in getting to Foxglove, which is the second book in the, I guess it's just the Belladonna trilogy, second book in the Belladonna trilogy, so I want to read that. I want to read also, I'm looking over at my bookshelves right now to see what is there that I could get to. Maybe One for My Enemy by Olive Blake. It's from what I've heard, it sounds interesting and it sounds very fall-y atmospheric. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but with witches, so two rival witch families. Anything else? Oh, The Merciful Crow and the Faithless Hawk, which are a duology. Interested in reading those, and I think that's gonna be it because I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't laugh at me if my math is wrong. 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of books. 11, 12, 12 or 13 books. So yeah, that's a lot of books, especially since I've read one and we're already 10 days into the month. So super ambitious. That's what you can anticipate me reading in this vlog anyways. So I am actually on my way to church and I am going to read more of All In when I get back. I'm almost done with it. I think I've got maybe 20 chapters left, which sounds like a lot, but those chapters are really short. And I'm getting to, not the good part because the whole book was good, but I'm getting to where the action is really ramping up. So I'm excited to continue it, and plan is to finish it today and start another book today. So stay tuned for that. So I cannot remember what I said to you the last time we talked, but since then I started and finished The Merciful Crow. This was a really good book. It kind of took me by surprise because it's been sitting on my bookshelf for like 2 years at this point. And then I just finally decided like this year I wanted to read it. I guess I wanted to kind of save it for the fall time because I thought it was gonna have like fall vibes, and it kind of does. It's set in this fantasy world where they traverse a lot of different terrains, so you could really read it any time of the year. But it's like your quintessential quest book. That's what I thought it was going to be like going into it. Our main character, Fi, she's part of the Crows, and she has to go on this quest sort of to... The Crows are sort of to elevate her people, to save her people, because there is a caste system in this world based on bird species. They're not actual birds, they're people, but they have like powers, like characteristics of the birds that they are named for. Like, for example, at the very highest level there's Phoenix caste, and they can control fire, they're impervious to fire. The Gull caste can control wind. The Hawk caste are like healers and like guards, I guess. The vultures are really good at tracking, and so the crows don't have a birthright, but what they can do is they can control the bones of other species, like by using the bones, mostly the teeth is what they do in this book, the teeth of other castes. They can like borrow their birthrights for a little while. Like Fi can use a phoenix tooth and control fire. So yeah, this is basically, I thought it was just going to be a quest book, like just we're going on a journey and we do that, but so much more happens in this book. Like the thing that I thought was going to be the majority of the book when I first read it, it happens in like the first third, and then we got a whole rest of the book to read and have twists and turns happen. I really enjoyed this. It was really fast paced. This author, Margaret Owen, her worlds are so immersive. I've only ever read one other book by her. I read it a couple years ago, Little Thieves, but the worlds are so immersive, so you really have to be paying attention to grasp her world building and her magic system. It's so intricate, and so it's not complicated, but if you are not paying attention, it's very easy to get lost. And I love that because that's why I read fantasy. I want to be immersed. There is a little romance in here too. I thought it was going to be a love triangle, but it isn't. And it's enemies to lovers, definitely, because the whole mission in this, or part of the mission, is the crows, I don't know. Okay, Fi is a crow, so she is sort of a mercy killer. There's a plague going on, and it kind of brought into mind the plague doctors, because they talk about wearing their crow masks and putting mint in the nose of their crow mask. But another thing about the crows is they can't catch the plague. Like, they are impervious to the plague, but anybody else can catch the plague. So they go from like village to village and mercy kill people who have caught the plague, because the plague is very deadly and it spreads very quickly. And so the society needs the crows, but they treat the crows horribly. They're persecuted just because, I don't know, I guess because they're the lowest on the totem pole, because they come in and basically deal death, but they're actually heroes. So yeah, that's what Fi's doing. The story opens with her on a job doing that with the rest of her band of crows. She's the daughter of the chief. And so this job that her dad is doing, this mercy kill that her dad is doing, is taking longer than it should. They're at the royal palace. And turns out the prince and his bodyguard are not actually dead. They fake their deaths because there's a plot to kill them by his evil stepmother, the queen. And so Fi and her crew reluctantly are roped into helping them in exchange for the promise that things will be better for the crows if they can help the prince take back his throne. So yeah, that is basically the gist of this. I really enjoyed it. Thankful that there is a sequel and that it is also on my TBR for this month, but I'm going to read another book in between this. I am going to read Where Sleeping Girls Lie next. I started it this morning. I think I'm on like chapter 2 or 3, and this one is about a girl, Sade, and she is going to this boarding school. She comes from an affluent family. I think there's gonna be like some sort of murder mystery going on, just judging by the title and like the creepy vibes I'm getting from this school already in like being 3 chapters in. So yeah, I'm gonna read that in between this duology. So Where Sleeping Girls Lie is next, and then I'm going to read book 2, which is called The Faithless Hawk. Okay, so it is December 1st, meaning that November is officially over. So let's do a little rundown of everything that I managed to read this month. First of all, I did not complete my TBR. My TBR was so ambitious. I didn't really expect to complete it. I just kind of was shooting for the stars there. But that being said, I did read quite a few books this month. I read 6. So I'm going to go through them and talk to you a little bit about what I rated them and how I enjoyed them or didn't enjoy them. First of all, I'm going to start off with my DNF, which I guess would technically make this 7 books. Even though I didn't get too far in this one, I got like a couple chapters into Heart of the Shadow King. Book 1 was really good. Book 2 lost me. It just lost me, and I figured, okay, maybe this is just like a bridge book, even though I hate that term and I hate the idea of like a whole throwaway book. Just for the sake of building plot and setting things up for book 3. I feel like if you're writing a book, it should be able to stand on its own period and it should be a good story. So I was willing to give book 3 a chance just to complete the series. And then I was just like thinking as I'm reading book 3 and not enjoying it, like I don't have to read this just because I read the other 2 or just to say I did it. Why? Like I don't have to do that. So yeah, I DNF'd that book. I was not enjoying it. I DNF'd it pretty early on. I think I got about 3 chapters in and I was just like, I'm over it. I'm done. It didn't live up to what the first book did. The 2 subsequent books didn't. So that was my DNF for this month. Instead, what I picked up right after that, I listened to Where Sleeping Girls Lie on Audible. This really, really good mystery, very good like psychological thriller, I guess. It wasn't really a thriller. We had like some tense moments, but it was more of a mystery than a thriller. And I really enjoyed this. This story follows Sade as she is going to a boarding school with these very affluent teenagers. She's from a very affluent family that hasn't really treated her well in the past and is full of secrets. One of those secrets is what brings her to this boarding school where she uncovers more and more secrets and a mystery, and she works with her new friends to bring an injustice to light. Trigger warnings for SA and child neglect, I guess, and just trying to find a way to say this, unaliving of oneself, things like that are present here, attempted unalivings. So yeah, it's a heavy subject matter, but the story felt real. It didn't feel heavy reading it. It was a very serious story, but it had its lighter moments to balance things out, and it felt real. It felt true. Like, this is the way things are in the world with these situations. So I really enjoyed it for all those reasons. I gave it a 5 stars. Another book that I listened to and gave a 5 stars was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This follows Mika. She is a witch, but she's also an influencer who makes like witchy videos online. Really cute concept, and that's kind of what drew me in. But her videos catch the attention of these people living in this house. They're raising 3 orphaned witches, but they need somebody to teach them magic. So that's basically the setup for the story. There's a little bit of a romance in it. Huge found family aspect, which I love found family. It's one of my favorite tropes, if not my favorite trope. And I just really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. It was funny and sweet and heartwarming, and I highly recommend it for the fall time. I know we're like past fall now, but I feel like you could read it any time of the year, and it just feels cozy and sweet. It's very much a cozy fantasy, and I'm liking those more and more. The more of them I read, I'm finding I like those. A book that was not a cozy fantasy, it was very much a high stakes adventure fantasy, is The Merciful Crow. I forgot how much I love Margaret Owen's writing. I read Little Thieves by her, highly enjoyed it, and I love this book. I love Fi. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the video, but pick it up if you like the quest element of a book, the hero's journey element, if you like the rooting for the underdog, if you like enemies to lovers, any of that, it's all here and so much more. And I love The Merciful Crow. Can't wait to read book 2, The Faithless Hawk. Another series I started, another duology I started this month was actually One Dark Window. This was the last book that I read, and I enjoyed this a lot. This book, 5 stars. This one I would give a solid 3. It wasn't great, but there wasn't really anything bad. It was just missing something, I guess, especially in the romance department. I didn't really believe the connection between Elspeth and Raven. I need a little bit more. So I think maybe in book 2 it'll dial up a little bit, because we had a lot going on in this book. We couldn't really focus too much on the romance. We're following Elspeth. She lives in this world that's secluded. It's like a kingdom cut off by a mist from the rest of the world. The mist is a curse from the god of the forest, and the god of the forest cursed them because people started abusing the magic she gave them in the form of these playing cards. They kind of strike me more like tarot cards, I guess. But they are these magical cards that you could use. Each one of them has a specific power, and there's a limited number of them. And so basically, to lift the curse and to lift her own personal curse, Elspeth has to work with these group of rebels to kind of find all the playing cards and unite the deck to break the curse. She's working against the king, so there's that high stake situation in there. She's also having to trust people that she wouldn't normally trust, so there's that tension. And she has like this voice in her head that's like slowly taking over her whole body. So there's that going on. And yeah, I recommend this if you're a fan of like gothic fantasies. Another gothic fantasy that I read, this isn't really a fantasy though, this month was Gothicana. I guess at the most this would be like a dark romance with like hints of supernaturalness going on, paranormal things happening, because there's ghosts and seeing the future and I don't know, clairvoyance, I guess. But this book follows a girl, Corvina, as she is going to like this secluded university in this haunted castle. As she's there, she discovers secrets and a curse, I guess, a legend that is haunting the grounds of the castle to this day. She also develops this sort of taboo relationship that kind of ends up being her saving grace in a way. I'd say they save each other, or they do their best to anyway. This was a really good book. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. It was very atmospheric. I feel like this is what like this wants to be, if that makes sense. So I think I gave this one, I think I would give this one a 4. I don't know what I gave it earlier in the video or what I've given it like earlier in this month, but sitting here thinking on it, I would give this one a 4. Another one I think my rating on has changed is, I don't know if that was a real sentence, but another one my rating for has changed since reading it would be All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Out of the 3 naturals books that I've read so far, this is the 3rd one. This one I liked the least. I think because it kind of centers on Sloane, and that sounds horrible because I do really love Sloane. I love all the naturals kids, but she is like my least favorite, I guess. She's the one I find the least interesting. And so I tried to get into this, and I was the least into this one. Book 2 is my favorite still, because I love Dean. I love that whole aspect. I love serial killers and all of that. But yeah, we're following another mystery. We're in Vegas, which is fun. We get to see more of Leah's character and her background. We get to see more of Sloane's character and her background. And we also get another piece of the puzzle of Cassie's story. This was a really good book, solid, but I was thinking about it like the other day, and I had to really think hard on how the book ended. I had forgotten it, and I just read it this past month, so that's not great. So I would give this one a 3. It wasn't horrible, but it could have been better. And that's a wrap up of my reading for November. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know if you have any recommendations for December, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.